Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video, which I'm really excited about because today I am going to be trying GLAMLITE for the very first time. That's right, I am really late to the party on trying GLAMLITE, but most of their palettes are pressed pigments and I can't use pressed pigment eyeshadows because they burn and irritate my eyes and sometimes make me feel like I have glass shards in my eyes and I'm never going to be able to see again. True story. Anyway, I bought this palette at Marshall's and I paid $19.99 for it. Here is the back of the carton. I forgot what that's officially called, but here's the back of the packaging. I did go through the information here on the back and cross out basically which shades within the... Super cute. I love that. That's so fun. Now, let me just say, I'll get back to what I was saying in a second, but I'm not a MIKAYLA fan. I don't like her at all. I don't like anything about her. Other than that, I have no thoughts about her either way. So I'm not a stan, I'm not a fan, I'm not a hater, I'm not anything. I'm just a person checking out this eyeshadow palette for less at Marshall's. Yeah, so I'm super late to check this palette out, but here in the back and on the back of the carton, it tells you which shades are pressed pigments and which ones are eyeshadows. Here is what my palette looks like. It is completely brand new, as you can see, and all the ones with little hearts next to the name of them are the only shades in this palette that are actual eyeshadows. So there's literally a third of the palette that I can use, and that's it. So let's go through the shades that I can use. This one here, these two shimmers there, and that brown shimmer, this purple shimmer, this green shimmer, this blue matte, the yellow matte, this blue matte, and the blue shimmer. Oh, thankfully this bright green and this whole row right there. So I've got, essentially I have 1, 2, 3, 4 mattes I can play with, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shimmers. So there's 7 shimmers and 4 mattes that I get to use out of this palette. 11 shades. That's why I didn't want to buy the palette, and that's why I don't buy indie palettes, because typically mainstream palettes don't have as many pressed pigments. So, all right, it's going to be a very, very limited look, but I am glad that I'll be able to do a bright green look here. And I'll use some of these other shades with it too. So let's create a fun look with the few colors in here that are actually intended for the eyes and that are safe for use around the eyes. I'm going to create a look with the 11 eyeshadows in this huge palette and share my first impression thoughts with you along the way. As it stands now, you can see I'm starting off pretty disappointed in the fact that I can only play with 11 shades here. So we're already starting off in the negative, but I'm excited to get some of these colors on my eyes and see what kind of a fun look I can create. So I'm going to get my eyes primed and I'll get started with the look. Okay, you guys, I'm going to start off in the outer corner. Actually, no, yeah, make up your mind, Michelle. I'm going to start off with this deep, dark blue-green down here. I'm going to try to keep that really confined to the outer edge. It's a pretty matte. Beautiful pigmentation. It's a really pretty, like, peacock blue. Not quite teal, not quite navy, not quite true blue, and certainly not aqua. It's more peacock blue. Really pretty. Which I feel like that's a fitting shade because MIKAYLA is very much like a peacock kind of a person. A very look at me, all eyes on me, very self-centered kind of person. That's not my cup of tea in people at all. I don't like people like that. Okay, so I really like how these mattes perform. They're really beautiful. So far, that's my first impression. Keep in mind, it's just a first impression. Up next, I'm gonna blend that out with this green shade here. I really like how those two colors mixed together. That was so pretty, the color that it turned. This is such a fun, bright green. I do feel like I'm starting to get a slight bit of a headache. The crazy thing about when I get headaches from eyeshadows like that Huda Beauty palette is that it starts to come on pretty quickly because like my immune system starts reacting to whatever ingredient it is. I haven't been able to figure it out. Those of you that get irritated that I can't tell you exactly what I'm allergic to. Yeah, I haven't been able to figure out what it is that I'm having an allergic reaction to in these palettes that gives me a headache, but I'm probably going to end up washing this look off right after I'm done. So I won't be able to talk about the longevity, only about the actual enjoyment of using the shadows right at first. That's all I'll be able to share my opinion on, sadly. But we'll see. Maybe it was just like a hint of something and I'm not actually getting a headache. We'll just see how that works out. Give it a little bit more time while I finish the look and see what happens. Okay, so far I think that is starting off really, really pretty. Next, I'm going to go into this really pretty blue shade. It's really pretty bright blue. There's a blue like this, and this blue reminds me a little bit of the blue that I created a look with in my ColourPop palette. It was really pretty and fun. That's a gorgeous matte blue. Oh my goodness, look at that. Beautiful. Such rich pigmentation. I really like that. What I don't like is that there's such few shades I can actually use without them being pressed pigments. So like I can't use the others on my eyes. I know a lot of people do. That's all on you, boo. Okay, I don't recommend that. As a previous med mal paralegal that worked on the Johnson & Johnson asbestos cases, okay, the historical claims against Johnson & Johnson, after the things that I've seen and learned, not only about makeup brands, but the ingredients and all of that, I wouldn't go using the pressed pigments around your eyes. Anyway, okay, so there's really only the shimmers left up here that I can play with. 3 shimmers. They're all kind of like brown and gold. I'm not going to use those today, I think, but I can tell that I like the mattes. Maybe I'll pop a little bit of the yellow at the top just to kind of add some of it. But okay, for right now, what I want to do next is go in with this really pretty green shimmer. I'm not going to use any glitter glue or anything because I really just want to see how the shimmers perform all on their own. I've never tried this brand. I'm going to go from the inner corner up onto right there. That's really fun and pretty. Okay. Wow, I am highly impressed with the payoff of this shimmer. I can't say these because I've only tried one. Really impressed with the payoff of this shimmer for not having used any glitter glue, not having wet the brush, nothing like that. That's really nice. Okay. I do really, really like the way that looks. For the lower lash line, I honestly only have one more matte that I haven't used that I can touch. Ooh, how did I miss that purple shimmer there? I wish I had a purple matte that I could use, and that purple right there. That would be so fun. I do want to use the purple shimmer though really badly, so let's check it out. I'm going to take this really cute little Sephora Pro brush. Yeah, I'm going to use this cute little brush from the Sephora Pro collection. If you have not seen my video on these brushes, I suggest you check them out and keep an eye out for those brushes to come back throughout the year, because even though these were a holiday limited edition set, I saw the brushes come back in stock here recently in like the middle of June, and it immediately went to just a few left because I have it saved in my wish list on Sephora. It immediately went to just a few left, and then it sold out again. So that's the only reason why I was able to see, because otherwise you have to be checking that website to know, because they're not really like on the channel. Wow, look at what this purple shimmer did to these mattes over here. Like, wow. Oh, that is such a fun look. Wow. Oh my gosh. But I really, really like the way that that looks. Okay, I'm gonna try now doing the lower lash line with let's just see what this purple shimmer looks like all by itself on the lower lash line, since I don't really have any other like dark shades I can use besides like that are a matte. Oh, that's fun. I do wish that I had, let me use a little bit of this deep dark matte here, because it literally is the darkest matte that I have. And I'm just gonna line that on the lower lash line and try to get a little bit of smokiness out here towards that little edge right here. Just like that. Oh my gosh, I love the way that that looks. Okay, I definitely don't want to use my hands today. I'm going to use this green sparkly shade here on the back edge here where I have the aqua, and just see what it does. I just want to see how it looks on top of that matte. That is really fun and pretty how I gave it just a little bit of a deep sparkle on that outer edge. I don't normally do sparkle all the way to the outer corner, but sometimes it's fun to try new things. Okay, I really do like the way that that looks. And I do feel the need to do a little bit of blending. I'm gonna take, hold on. I'm gonna try this yellow matte as a blending shade on this big fluffy blender that I have here from Singe Beauty, and I'm gonna just like blend that out here at the top and see what happens. Keep in mind, there won't be a lot of pigment that shows up because it is a fluffy blender. If I wanted it to be really opaque, I would put it like on a more dense brush. But I do feel like you can see it even though it's very pale. You can see that like little hint of some sunshine yellow right there, which kind of ties into the bright green of the shimmer in the upper, the inner eyelid. Yeah, just a little pop of some sunshine there on the outer edge. That's fun. All right. So let's see, I had 11 shades that I could choose from, and I've used all but these 3 shimmers up there. I do really, really like the look. I feel like I could add this gold shimmer here in the middle, but I'm afraid that that will like tamp down the purplish hue that mixed into that aqua green. So, I mean that like bright blue or whatever. Here is the finished look for my first time to play with the MIKAYLA palette. Let me show you the eyeshadow look all by itself. Here's what the eyeshadow is like without any additional finishing touches. Now I'm going to add some eyeliner and mascara, and I'll be right back to show you the completed look. Okay, you guys, here is the finished eye look. Sorry, I'm doing my eyes all weird. I'm trying to give you different angles of the lashes and the look and everything. Here is what my palette looks like now that I've used it one time. And I used every single shade that has a heart on it, except for these top 3 shimmers down there. So quite frankly, let me see how I even think I could incorporate those shimmers with this palette, still avoiding the pressed pigments. Okay, so I feel like if I was gonna do a look with somehow the yellow, like maybe yellow, blue, and green, those are the only options because I only have blue and yellow mattes and this green. So if I was gonna do a yellow look and maybe deepen it up with one of these mattes out here, or just leave it bright yellow, I could use some of these shimmers here. I could do this shimmer towards the inner eye, like the inner lid, and then this one in the middle, and this towards the outer lid, and that way it would be a little bit darker on the lid, and you have the yellow shimmer, and then you have the yellow matte underneath the shimmers, and then all up into the crease. So that's really the only way I can imagine that I would be able to incorporate those kind of orangey shades, considering I can't use any of the orange or brown mattes because they're pressed pigments. So anyways, that being said, I really did enjoy this formula. I think it's really pretty. I won't be able to wear it like throughout the day to tell you what I think about the longevity of the formula or anything like that, because I do feel like my throat is getting a little itchy in reaction to having this palette on my skin. I'm not sure why that is, but I do tend to react to every single made in China palette, which is why I avoid made in China makeup. I mean, sometimes like foundations and stuff don't bother me, but like specifically the powders, any made in China powders, I avoid. And cream products too. Okay, I digress, like cream makeup. Anyhow, yeah, so I won't be using this palette any further, but I am glad that I finally got to test out the formula, at least in this particular palette. I have heard that GLAMLITE is kind of like ColourPop, where they'll give you a crappy formula sometimes, and then other times they have a really good one. I really wish that, okay, so here's my opinion on GLAMLITE now that I've actually got to play with it, coupled with what my opinion has been about the brand all along. I think they do really fun collabs and really fun, pretty color stories and fun palettes, but because most of each of the palettes are pressed pigments and there's very few eye-safe shadows within any of their palettes, I really wish they would stop peddling out so much junk products with non-eye safe pigments in them and focus a little bit more time on their formula so that we could actually use all of the fun shades safely near our eyes. So yeah, I don't anticipate buying any more GLAMLITE makeup at all ever again unless they do a 180 on their formula and improve it by getting rid of most of their pressed pigments and going with straight up eyeshadows that still perform with this kind of beautiful payoff and fun shimmery effects. So that's how I feel about like the brand in general. Now let me share my thoughts on the actual eye look. I think that the look turned out really pretty. I had a lot of fun playing with each of the shades that I was able to play with. I really appreciate how you can see distinctly each and every shade, even though they're blending in with the other ones. Sorry, I keep looking at the eye look in the mirror here in front of me while I'm talking about it. Anyhow, I really like how you can distinctly see each of the shades even as they blend in towards the others. They don't get muddy from, you know, my one experience here. I don't have any muddiness, and it doesn't seem to be fading. I think that was just, it looked like it was fading because of how I blended it earlier. And so when I went back and added more pigment and deepened up my outer corner, it made the lighter part look like it was patching, I think, a little bit, but I don't think it is patching at all. And I really like how the yellow matte like blended on the outer edge into the other mattes without overtly changing those colors and still keeping its like yellow hue really softly. I don't know. I'm really, really impressed with the eyeshadows from GLAMLITE. And I had a lot of fun playing with this palette. I'm glad I only paid $20 for it, especially since it was a one and done for me, meaning this is the one time I'm going to use it and now I'm done with the palette. Yeah, I had originally planned, you know, once I had discovered and solidified my thoughts that Made in China palettes give me some sort of a reaction, I was going to declutter. I had gone through my eyeshadow palette collection and I was going to declutter all of my Made in China palettes without even testing them out. So I'm glad I at least decided to play with a few of them before they make their way on out the door. But yeah, this palette will likely end up in my declutter pile. I am working on filming my eyeshadow palette declutter, so hopefully I'll have that sometime soon. But I don't want to get rid of any palettes that I want to play with, so I've just been really diligent about going through my collection and trying to use the palettes that I haven't used yet, especially if I had considered decluttering them first, so like without trying them. So yeah, I am, you know, having a lot of fun going through the eyeshadow palettes. But thank you so much to those of you who voted on my community tab poll for the MIKAYLA GLAMLITE First Impressions video, and to those of you that wanted to see a bright green look, this video is also geared in response to that request. So I hope that you enjoyed the video and that you like the look. Whether you like the look or not, feel free to comment down below and let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts and experience with GLAMLITE. I know they're a really popular brand. They do have a lot of really fun collabs. And, excuse me, I just had a hiccup. Another one. And they do have a lot of fun nostalgic IP collabs, which, you know, sometimes I'm almost tempted by, but yeah, because they don't do eyeshadows and they're all pressed pigments, it's easy for me to just skip them. So when I saw this in Marshall's for a reduced price and I didn't have to pay shipping or wait for it to arrive and it possibly be broken or whatever, I decided, let me go ahead and give it a go. And yeah, I'm so glad that I did. So that's going to do it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to click the like button. It really does help my small channel out so much. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel and click the notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.